Hello there, amazing viewers and subscribers, and welcome to the latest episode of ranking every single season and series of Doctor Who from 1963 down to 2023. And of course, it's took us a year and a half, a year and a month to get to number 12 from 39th place. So in 12th place, this season was actually broadcast, believe it or not, from the 10th of August 1978 up to the 21st of June 1969. It is season 6, Troughton's finale season as the second Doctor. And for me, this season would have been a bit higher, but because I've kind of experienced more stories over the last year and, well, with the animations being basically helping, season 4 has really moved up in my estimates. I'm sorry to say that, but season 4 has really moved up. But for me, this deserves to be in 12th place, you know. It's not a really bad season. It is an epic season. These are the seasons now from 12th place to number 1 that are epic. They're brilliant. And these are a masterpiece seasons. So, season 6 contains quite a bit of stories, actually, because we have the Dominators, we have the Mind Robber, we have the Invasion, we've got the Croutons, we've got the Seas of Death. We have a missing story, but only episode 2 exists from the missing story, aka the Space Pirates, and of course, the 10-part epic story known as the War Games. This season, for me, it's not how can I say it? It's a brilliant season. It's a masterpiece season. It's got some stories in there that aren't really masterpieces, but the rest of the stories in this season really pushes it up for me to sit here and say why I really enjoy season 6. So, as I said, season 6 was broadcast from the 10th of August 1968 to the 21st of June 1969. And it starts Patrick Troughton as the second Doctor, Wendy Perry as his newest companion, aka Zoe, and of course we have Fraser Hines, who plays Jamie McCrimmon. And of course, this season we kind of have the return of the Cybermen. We have the return of the Ice Warriors. Yeah, 2 returning foes for this season. The rest of the season is just flat out phenomenal. Flat out phenomenal. So I'm going to talk about each story, what I think of them, and when we're not mentioning the Space Pirates, because I've only seen episode 2, and I kind of want to experience more from the story. So I really do hope that we kind of get the taste that reconstructions released on the Blu-ray for Doctor the Collection Season 6. Now, I know people are saying, but why am I saying Season 6 for the Blu-ray set? Well, Season 2 has already just been out, and it was only missing one story, and the Space Pirates is that missing story for Season 6. So, I can really think that we are going to get Season 6 sooner than later than I actually did my very first video of of my predictions for each season, because I actually put season 6 for 2026 or 2027, and I kind of think we're going to get that a bit more earlier because of season 2, because season 2 I kind of put that for 2025, believe it or not, and we kind of got that in 2022. So I do think season 6 might be sooner than later. So season 6, so the first story is of course the Dominators, and it is a 5-part story. It's not a brilliant story. It is a very, very boring story for me. I don't really enjoy it, but the only thing I watch it that I keep going back and me watching it is because Troughton is a phenomenal actor. He is a phenomenal Doctor, and the way he literally in this story, the way he's the man that's going on this 5-part story. The rest of the story doesn't really zoom in that well to me. I mean, the only thing I can actually say about the season, about the story of the season, is Patrick Troughton is just phenomenal in it, and I really do enjoy it. The next story is another 5-parter, and it is, of course, the Mind Robber. So, I really do enjoy this one. So, following from the Dominators, where you kind of have the volcano planet exploding, and the Doctor's there with Jamie, and they're kind of there talking, saying, yes, anything on the island will be impacted, but we're on the island. Oh my word! And the way the TARDIS is just there about to get buried with all this hot lava. And because the Doctor has to accidentally have to use the emergency takeoff button, which basically leaves them into nowhere situation where they kind of end up in this mystery kind of friction sort of thing of the land of friction, where you kind of have some toy robots. And then, of course, they end up with the TARDIS basically breaking up and they go into this other land of friction. And, of course, Jamie ends up with a new face because Freezer Hines come down with the severest case of chickenpox. So, of course, they had to get another actor to play Jamie because the Doctor gets his face wrong. But luckily, by the end of part 5, everything goes back to normal. And it is just another fantastic story. And I have to admit, I do like the Mind Rubber. The next story of the season is my favourite story of the season. I'm sorry to say that, but this is one of my favourite ones out of the Troughton era. It's my favourite one out of this season. Now, my second favourite, to be honest with you. If I was going to say it's my favourite one, yeah, people will go, oh, okay, we know this one. But it's my second favourite. I'm sorry to say that. It is actually my second favourite. It is, of course, The Invasion. Now, The Invasion, it is the very first story to feature UNIT. Now, it's the second story to feature Nicholas Courtney as Alistair Gordon Lethbridge Stewart. But in this time, he's actually a colonel. I think he's a colonel, or he's been promoted to the brigadier. Somewhere in the story. I think it's this story he gets promoted to a brigadier. And of course, UNIT's very first villain is no other than the Cybermen. So we kind of have Mr. Thorne being all this powerful man talking to the Cyber Planner. And of course, the Cyber Planner knows the Doctor from Planet 14, which is actually a reference to the previous Cyberman story, aka The Wheel in Space. And then, of course, the Doctor realises about the Cyber Planner, realises the Cybermen, and he helps UNIT defeat them. Which is just another cracking story. The next story of the season is, of course, the Croutons. Yes, the Croutons, it's okay. I mean, people have talked about this in the fandom to me, and they're like, oh, yeah, the Croutons, it's not a brilliant transfer. I'm like, what? I mean, literally, I'm like just sitting here going, what? I mean, if anybody tells me they don't like the Croutons, I mean, yeah, everybody has their own opinions and stuff, but what the hell is wrong with you? I mean, the Croutons, for me, this was my very first ever piece of Troughton story I actually had on VHS, believe it or not. Growing up, my dad used to have the VHSs, and then I used to collect the VHSs before I switched to the DVDs, and now I'm collecting both again. And I remember watching the Croutons, because it was my very first ever piece of the second Doctor media. And I do like the story, because it's the first time we kind of see the Doctor activating the HAS, the Emergency Hostile Action device that basically makes the TARDIS rematerialise. Like we do see that again in Series 7, in, of course, Cold War. So this is the first time it actually is activated when the Crouton goes to destroy the TARDIS. I do like it. I do like the music for this one, the international music. Yeah, it's absolutely brilliant and cracking. The next story, now I'm going to be honest, this is my favourite story of the season. This is my absolute favourite story of the season. It is, of course, The Seeds of Death. Now, The Seeds of Death, it is a second Ice Warrior outing story for the Ice Warriors. It is Troughton's third to last story, believe it or not, unfortunately. I'm in the mood of watching this story myself, and I will be doing a review on this story, because I'm just love rewatching this story. I think I've already done a review on it. I'm not too sure. I need to look back before I actually get to my review, because if I've already done it, then I don't really need to do another review, do I? This story, I love the fact we go to Tiamat, and of course the Ice Warriors basically invade Mars, basically take over Tiamat, and then to get to Tiamat, they kind of need a rocket, and then the Doctor kind of volunteers him, Zoe, and Jamie to go and sort out the problem on the moon base, and then of course, when they get there, they kind of find out it's been took over by Ice Warriors, including the introduction to the Ice Lords. Now, the Ice Lords are the rulers of the Ice Warriors. So really, by the time we get to season 10, it kind of goes from... It kind of goes from a different pattern, because it goes from Ice Warrior, Ice Lords, and then the Empress of Mars, which we see in Peter Capaldi in Series 10, which is proper up higher in this list. Season 6, for me, it's brilliant. I do love this story. It's fantastic, I have to admit. Now, the next story after that is, of course, the Space Pirates. But unfortunately, I haven't really experienced enough from the Space Pirates, apart from episode 2 that is in the Doctor Who DVD box set called The Lost in Time. So I haven't really experienced the Space Pirates apart from episode 2. I am trying to find the CD adaptation of the story, see what I actually think of it, because People have told me the Space Pirates, it's a terrible story, and you can tell Charlton was bored in it, but I'm kind of thinking to myself, I kind of want to just experience for me to sit down and enjoy, I have to admit. And then, of course, we jump into the last and final story, the epic story known as the War Games, where we kind of see the Doctor come across the Warlords, we find the War Chief, and of course we basically find out that the War Chief is actually a Time Lord, so the Doctor species are a Time Lord, and the Doctor has to call the Time Lords to come and sort out the situation that the Warlords and the War Chief have gone and sorted out by kidnapping humans from their sentries and then send them onto this bidden planet to do something. I can't remember what the actual plot is because it's very, very confusing, because 1 minute they get captured, then they escape, then they get captured again, then they escape, then they get captured, and then they escape, and it leads into the second Doctor basically having to call the Time Lords for help. And then, of course, episode 10, we kind of have the epic bit with the Doctor trying to escape the Time Lords before they kind of get there, and we kind of see the Time Lords actually get control of the TARDIS for the first time, which is something that does lead into the to the Pertwee era, which I've already gone and done my first episode of that one, so go check out a look back at the history of Doctor Who, the Pertwee era. And then, of course, when the Doctor does end up back on the Time Lord's home planet, we don't know at this point it's Gallifrey, because Gallifrey is not name-dropped, it's not mentioned until the season 11 story, The Time Warrior. So we kind of had no idea that this was actually called Gallifrey at the time. So we kind of see the Doctor getting put on trial with the Warlords, and the Warlord just basically tries to kidnap him, and the Time Lords basically punish them by trapping them and make sure that them and the planet never basically existed. And then, of course, put the second Doctor on trial, which basically does leave the second Doctor trying to defend himself. Goes, while you have been observing the evil in the galaxy, I have been fighting against it. And I love the way how he's standing up to the Time Lords, even though they're there going, we're going to set you free. And the Doctor goes, oh, good. In exile. In exile. And the way he's there talking, saying, but I'm known on the earth. People are very... And he goes, your appearance has changed before, it will change again. You cannot change what I look like without consulting me. Well, here's your first... Oh, no, he's too old. Oh, he's too fat, ain't he? No, he's too thin. That one's too young. Oh, I won't do it at all. This is ridiculous. You're wasting time, Doctor. And the way the Doctor said goes, I have never seen such an incredible bunch. And the Time Lords are there going, if you can't take the decision will be taken for you. Blah, 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 blah. I never said that. But I have the right to mind what I look like. It's very important on the earth, you know, like that. And then, of course, you kind of have the face speely thing with the Doctor. And then he goes, I say, what's happening? The time has come for you to change your appearance, Doctor, and to begin your exile. Is this some sort of joke? I refuse to be treated this way. And then, of course, we kind of have Charlton's body basically spinning away from the camera, and we don't really see the face regeneration bit. And that is the end of the second Doctor's run, which I'm going to dive more into this when I get to the other part, when I get to my other series in the Charlton era. So yeah, season 6, it is one of my favourite seasons. I mean, for it to be in 12th place, you know it's my favourite one. It's one of my favourites. Out of the 3 seasons for Patrick Troughton, this is my second favourite. It did just be my all-time favourite, but season 4 has now took that peak. Season 4 has really took over that peak for me for Troughton, because since the animations basically started in 2016, I have experienced more and more from season 4, and I'm sorry to say that, but out of season 4 and season 6, season 4 is definitely good. But season 6, I do enjoy. I really do enjoy it a lot more than season 5. So let me know in the comments, what do you think of Doctor Who season 6? How do you rank it in every single season? What do you think of the stories of the season? Please do like, subscribe, and share, and join for more awesome Doctor Who content. Have a cracking day, you amazing viewers and subscribers.